What's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic here, coming at you with some USBL action as we get ready to start wrapping up the month of May here. We got some good USBL action for you guys. 6 games on tap here, starting with 2 teams that are trying to rebuild themselves right now, the Seattle Pilots and the San Diego Whales, as we will go ahead and jump into the top of the 2nd inning. And Chase Vines has been doing pretty solid so far, doing some pretty good work, but Victor Calatini looking to change all of that though. He puts a charge into this ball, and it's going to be gone like a girl in a country song, and it will be considered the 7th home run of the season for him. And the Seattle Pilots will end up striking first here, up 2-0 for the time being. But other than that, both teams have been playing pretty well. That being said, though, we will see the Seattle Pilots start to pull away here a little bit, as Anthony Johnson can't make the play necessarily all the way up at the wall. Elvis Andreas gets that RBI double, helps extend the lead for Seattle for a 3-0 affair. Could end up becoming 4-0 here, as that ball ends up dropping in there. So Seattle will end up going ahead and getting yet another run up on the board as well. So a 4-0 affair going for the Seattle Pilots, as we actually go ahead and see a little bit of a pitching's day. So Chase Vines does not make it the full 5 innings. So even if San Diego does come back and win this game, he will not be awarded with that dub. Let's see who San Diego goes ahead and pulls out of the bullpen. It's Antonio Salazeta, his 19th appearance of the year, and doing pretty good so far. An ERA just a shade under 3, and helping his team get out of the inning as well. The weak grounder out to the second baseman will end up preventing any more damage from being done. But San Diego, they got to get some runs on the board. It's not like they've been bad hitting, 5 hits so far, but they got to get some timely hitting out here. Got to do a better job hitting with runners in scoring position. Randy Arizona, we're going to get it started, though, as we do see a double for Randy Arizona, his first hit of the day, as he looks to stay off the interstate, batting .211. That will certainly help. As now, 2 batters later, Tommy Edman trying to go to work here, batting .235 on the season. Jared Guttu with a 2-1 delivery, and it is hit into right center field, and the San Diego Whales are going to be on the board, going for free as well. It's Tommy Edman going to make it. Yes, he does. Slide it in for the triple, and the first run on the board for the San Diego Whales. They are officially on the board. We'll see if Julius McKay, who's having a pretty good rookie season so far, we'll see if he can continue it, though. As Julius McKay, he's going to put a charge in his ball as well. It's deep to center field, and it's also gone. So the rookie with his 3rd home run of the season, and it helps San Diego pull just 1 run away. Cody Heuer coming out of the bullpen for the Seattle Pilots, look to go ahead and try to keep it a 1-run game. Anthony Johnson, though, putting a charge in this ball, but it does die out shortly before reaching out to the warning track. But San Diego, they do manage to go ahead, get themselves on the board. A 1-run game here, as Adam Ottavino, 5th appearance of the season for him. He's coming up here, trying to make sure that it stays a 4-3 game, making sure that Seattle cannot add any insurance runs. As Calatini, he's got 1 home run. How about we go ahead and make it now 2 home runs on the day? Now his 8th home run of the season. Harrison Bader will end up striking out in this next at bat, but that insurance run that Seattle was able to get in that 9th inning will end up being the ultimate difference, as the Seattle Pilots will end up taking this one home. A good morale victory for them, as they do end up winning this one 5-3. A nice little defensive affair to start off this episode, as Seattle they get closer to 500 with a 5-3 win. So let's go ahead and see if we can find some more offensive action here as we go ahead and check out some other games throughout the USBL. Got an NL Central Divisional matchup between the Milwaukee Bears and the Indianapolis Indians, who Indianapolis has kind of been a little bit disappointed. They added Jordan Alvarez. They had a pretty solid offense, but yet 17-17 still as we are approaching, 2 months of baseball being played. It just, Indianapolis has kind of dropped the ball a little bit, but they do get off to a really great head start here as Jose Altuve hits his 7th home run of the season, just barely gets over the wall. But what's really holding Indy back is this pitching staff. Caleb Barger is going to go ahead. He's going to be the starting pitcher for today. An ERA close to 5, so not an ideal spot, especially playing against a pretty hot Milwaukee Bears squad right now, as that will certainly not help either. An error out there in second base, and it's going to end up becoming a double because of it. Jose Altuve could not handle it, but they do score it as a double, and Milwaukee will quickly get themselves on the board as well. Lorenzo Cain making them pay for it with the alleged defensive error for Jose Altuve, and it is a 1-run game. As now we jump into the bottom of the second inning, Ryan Zimmerman facing a 2-2 count in his first at bat of the day. He hits this one pretty well out in the center field, drifting away and just barely staying in the ballpark. Ryan Zimmerman, he's going to get himself a double to work with here as well, his 3rd double of the season. And so runner in scoring position once again for Milwaukee as they are continuing to show why their team has been on fire. Been a very pleasant surprise so far in the early portion of year number 2, as they are currently on top of the NL Central. A 2-1 lead being taken as Jordan Alvarez, the big free agent signing for the Indianapolis Indians, gives them the lead right back. 10th home run of the season for Jordan Alvarez. And how about this? What a bargain he has been. 2 years, $3.6 million. And he's been producing. Really, he should get himself a big contract. I'm surprised he didn't with the New Orleans Kings, to be honest with you. But that is certainly their loss right now. He's been a very productive player. As we are seeing, we got ourselves a little bit of a shootout. Something a little different than what we saw in the Seattle and San Diego game. We see a home run that pulls them within 1. But Alex Bregman will end up striking out. Milwaukee has scored in all 3 innings so far, as Zimmerman looks to keep the inning alive, but that will end up being a strikeout though, and it will end the bottom of the 3rd inning. Both teams hitting pretty well, as we'll go ahead and jump into the bottom of the 4th. Alex Dickerson, he did pop out back in the 2nd inning, currently batting a .230 clip so far this season, so could be doing a little bit better, that's for sure. But Dickerson, he's looking to get that average up, might take this out of the ballpark as well, and it does. Solo shot for Alex Dickerson, and the 6th home run of the season for him, as this game is all tied up at 4 apiece. As now we go ahead, we'll see if Milwaukee can go ahead and take their very first lead of the game. They have not experienced one all day today, but Quinn Frazier gets himself in the scoring position. We'll see if James McCann can go ahead and hit him home. He can't. Will strike out swinging. 3rd strikeout for Caleb Barger. But Jonathan Swoop, see if he gets anything going as well. He also strikes out. Are we going to see Quinn Frazier end up going ahead and being stranded at second base? We'll just have to wait and see, as Lorenzo Cain looking to go to work now. 1 for 2 on the day, working with a full count as well. And it's the full count delivery. Here it comes. Cain looking to give Milwaukee the lead, and it gets poked into the outfield. It's going to be close. Is Cain going to get home? Yes, sir! And the Milwaukee Bears are going to be taking a 1-run lead. They are now up 5-4 for the first time today, as Caleb Barger is actually going to go ahead and be pulled out of the game for the very first time. So his day is going to be done. A brutal day for Caleb Barger, showing why his ERA is as high as it was. Didn't do himself any favors here today, as Genesis Cabrera does come in, 16th appearance of the season. Okay ERA, 4.0. Got that honor roll GPA. Not great for baseball terms, but Genesis Cabrera will end up getting out of this bottom of the 4th inning without allowing any more runs. So Milwaukee does have the lead, but we will end up seeing how much longer that will certainly last, as literally in the very next inning, look at this moonshot for Fernel Reyes, 7th home run of the season for him. As now Ryan Zimmerman looks to get involved again, but yet another strikeout, his second one. That does seal the deal, as we do jump into the top of the 6th inning now. We're going to try to get back into this thing. All we need, one swing of the at-bat. We'll see if Fred Shaver can provide. Hits it out in the center field, and it does end up dropping as well, and also manages to go ahead, get to the wall. This could clear the bases, as looks like Fred Shaver will stay at third base, but tying run is just 90 feet away. We'll see if Brian O'Keefe can bring him home. And while he does end up sacrificing himself, he does end up going ahead and bringing that tying run home. So, got a very exciting game on our hands. We'll see who ends up blinking first. Who's going to get that crucial stop here at the end of the game, and certainly going towards that direction. As Genesis Cabrera, he's still in the game, facing Lorenzo Cain once again, but he's going to take this out into the bleachers once again. Lorenzo Cain, 4th home run of the season, and it's now back to being a Milwaukee league. James Holt will end up coming into the game to try to ease things up a little bit, but does end up getting a clean inning, so it does stay a 1-run game. But again, one of those games where it ends up being the absolute difference maker. Milwaukee does end up pulling it out. They improve their record. They become 22-14 on this season, and they continue that hot streak that has started out for this ball club, as the Indianapolis Indians will fall below 500, now 17-18 on the year. So we'll go ahead and put some pressure on the Aurora Lightning, who are trying to chase down the Milwaukee Bears. It's turning to an interesting race for sure. Meanwhile, the Louisville Colonials, not looking that great whatsoever. 5 games under 500. They are still kind of in that rebuilding mode. It has been, tough for Louisville. They weren't sellers last year, but they weren't necessarily the most talented team on the face of the planet either. And, showing it here early, Aurora gonna jump out, get the first run of the game already, as we do end up seeing the Aurora Lightning get that first run on the board. And it helps create some room for Dakota Hudson, and Dakota Hudson's been pretty good this season so far, at least in the early going, an ERA under 2. But that being said, though, we're going to see a run score, and it might have been because of an error, as actually 2 runs end up scoring here at the same time. So a costly mistake, that error costing literally 2 runs. That should have been a tailor-made double play, but it just did not end up happening, though, although we do at least see someone being thrown out. But man, that is just some really tough luck for Dakota Hudson, as Louisville now holds to a 2-1 lead. George Polanco, though, gonna get shut down, gonna end up striking out swinging. Does end up being the 4th strikeout for Dakota Hudson. We're gonna add on to that, but Trey Turner has other ideas that's so high in the air, as it ends up being a moonshot that gets over the massive green wall out there in left field. So, oh my goodness gracious, what a shot we saw there. As a matter of fact, Dakota Hudson actually does end up being taken out of the ball game really early. He actually does not even make it through 5 innings. So, Dakota Hudson, he had that great start to the season, but definitely not his best day. Might have been his worst appearance of the entire season, to be honest with you guys. and it's not going to get much better, even though they have a new pitcher in the game in Tony Gonsolin, as Louisville has really started to go ahead and pull away here. And they're now up 7-1 as Charlie Blackmon, he's going to get a hit as well. He's not as fast as he used to be, but that being said, still reliable for some nice contact hitting to work with, and makes it 8-1 in the process. Oh my goodness. It's now top of the 6th inning. Now we'll see a new pitcher come into the game for the Colonials, and it's Tyler Alexander, but has some trouble to work with as he's got a runner on first and second, and dealing with Corey Dickerson at the plate. He hits it out into left field. It will end up dropping in. Does not get past the outfielder, but that being said, they will at least get one run back. So Aurora trying to chip themselves back into this game. But that being said, though, you know, you need to be able to go ahead and get stops on the defensive end, and that just hasn't necessarily happened just yet, as we're going to see yet another score for Louisville. That's part of the problem for Louisville. They just haven't been that great at the plate, but their bats are surely going off here today as Aurora goes to the bullpen again. They got to go to Travis Lincoln Sr., who hasn't made a ton of appearances yet at this season, but will be called upon as they are down 7 runs. Is now Jared Walsh at the plate. 0 for 3 on the day, but does have a pretty nice batting average. Batting .277 on the season. Walsh, he's going to send this out into right field, and it is gone! Another home run. Jared Walsh, home run number 7 of the season. And you pair that with some great contact hitting from Buster Posey, who hasn't really hit the long ball, but he will end up getting himself a double despite the fact that he's one of the slowest players in the USBL right now. He only has a blistering 6 speed right now. As we do see runners on the corners here. A couple batters later, Nicky Montano, a USBL rookie in the game, gonna hit this one, and Buster Posey is gonna be able to get home. So Nicky Montano cannot beat the throw to first. Does add on yet another run here as well, and Aurora definitely in some serious danger of being absolutely blown out of this game. But at the same time, though, they are certainly not going to be giving up just yet here, as we do end up seeing yet another double here in Louisville, continuing to build what they got going on. Still down 11-2, but at least Aurora will be going down finding this one. This actually could leave the ballpark. It just barely stays in the ballpark. Even the way that it bounced, it could have certainly been a ground rule double. I think Rendon was expected to leave the ballpark as well, and that just didn't happen. But still, 11-3 game here. Steve Nunez needs this hit, and he's going to hit this one up the middle. It scores yet another run, and the Lightning got themselves only a 7-run deficit. They really are trying their best to make things interesting. It's now Kiki Hernandez with a 2-2 count of his own, but got jammed up, couldn't even make contact, and ends up being a strikeout, as it does make it an 11-4 affair. And Jake McGee is called in. Hasn't been great with saves this year. Only 1 for 3 in save opportunities. This wouldn't necessarily count as a save because it is a 7-run game. But that being said, Jake McGee will at least get himself a clean inning to close out this game. And Louisville, with not the fact that they won is a surprise. It is, anything can happen in baseball, but the fact that it was an absolute blowout is absolutely insane to me. And a win by 7. So we go and check out another Ohio team, or at least in the Ohio area, the Columbus Jets, taking on a surprising team in their own right, the Pittsburgh Force, as John Gray is going to take on Chris Sale here. 2.03 ERA, a 5-0 record to go with it as well. But Chris Sale looking good so far. Harold Ramirez gets the strikeout. Chris Sale's certainly been a great pitcher. I'm actually surprised that he wasn't moved at the USBL trade deadline last season, and it's certainly paying off for Pittsburgh in their first year with that relocation, maybe they just need to get out of Detroit. But Corey Seager hits a home run on him, and Chris Sale dealing with a 1-0 deficit, but will end up at least striking out Ronald Acuna Jr. But Corey Seager does get actually has the only hit so far in this game, but it's also the only run. And speaking of Corey Seager, he does pop back up here in the bottom of the 4th inning, but Chris Sale will end up at the very least getting his revenge. So Ronald Acuna back at the plate once again, 0 for 1 today, but 3 for 6 over the course of this series between Columbus and Pittsburgh, as Acuna going into right field. Are we going to see another home run? And it does actually manage to carry out of the ballpark. So Acuna Jr. gets a 7th home run of the season. Roberto Nunez, not as lucky, unfortunately. And Chris Sale only allowed 2 runs in this game, but he will end up being pulled after 7 innings of action. Cody Stashik going to come in and try to make sure that it stays a 2-0 game, but he can't finish it out. Actually see a dive out there in left field. Not a wise decision. Dude has some serious speed. Could be a triple. And wait a minute, they're actually going to try to wave him home, and he's safe inside the park. Home run. Oh my. How about that for the 4-0 affair? Although Corey Seager will end up striking out though. But man, that is tough considering Pittsburgh is really trying their best right now to come back in this game. When you only have 2, they have less hits, Pittsburgh has, than Columbus has runs. And Columbus is not even really lighting the scoreboard on fire, obviously. So we really got to get something going here. We'll see if Tim Lacastro can start this top of the 9th inning off right for Pittsburgh, and that will certainly help. Tim Lacastro, that ball's going to get down. Actually, it gets over the wall. I was not expecting that. But Tim Lacastro, literally his first home run of the season, by the way, gets that. And at least Pittsburgh won't be shut out necessarily. But, I mean, when you got Chris Sale on the mound, he's doing really good work. You got to give him a little bit more run support. Like, Chris Sale will probably get his first loss unless Kyle Schwarber can do something about it, which he can't. But Chris Sale is going to be given the loss, but it's not his fault. He only gave up 2 runs. He only gave up 4 hits the whole game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Chris Sale was done dirty. Actually, he only gave up 3 hits, but a great win by Columbus, though, as it takes us to another rivalry game. How about this? One of the biggest rivalry in sports. We got Boston and New York going at each other. But with that being said, though, even though these are 2 teams that are on the top of the AL East right now, neither team is that great. Even the Baltimore Quakers, who I believe are... Actually, no, the New York Knights are number 1. I'm losing my mind a little bit here. But that being said, the New York Knights are first place in the AL East, but they're only 20-18. So they're not doing that great, but one of the reasons why they've been so good, or at least competitive, is Nolan Arenado, who's batting .300 against right-handed pitchers. And well, Luke Weaver, he's certainly one of those right-handed pitchers, as Nolan Arenado is looking to go to town. He sends this out to left field, and it's gonna be gone. Home run for Arenado, the 11th home run of the season, and it's going to tie the ball game up. But that's not all. Yasmani Grandal gonna go ahead, also hit that home run, his 2nd home run of the season. And New York starts off really fast. They get 4 runs there in that 1st inning, but you already know the Boston Quakers are going to respond themselves. Jake Marinowski, who was acquired in the USBL trade day as part of trying to trade away Nick Anderson back in season number 1. Jake Marinowski was included in that deal, as now Jay Bruce comes up to the plate. Game is all tied up at 4 apiece. 1-1 count. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Here comes the delivery for Luke Weaver as Jay Bruce. You already know what time it is. It's another home run for Jay Bruce. The 9th home run of the season. as Aaron Sledgers now comes up in the rotation. We'll see if he can keep the lead for New York. But Mookie Betts, he's going to respond as well. And these two teams just keep going. Tick for tack. You absolutely love to see it. The 6th home run for Mookie Betts in this one. But we'll see if Mac Muncy can add to it as well. And he's going to do it. I think. Does it carry? Does it have the distance? It does. Max Muncy, who's been on fire with the home run hitting, now has 14 home runs on the season. He has been on absolute fire. As Edwin Rios now, he looks to get involved, and he hits, you guessed it, yet another dinger. Getting a ton of dingers in this game, man. I didn't know that the home run derby started a whole month and a half early. You know what I'm saying? Just the number of home runs that we have seen in this game has been insane. And Johnny Bell is going to be looking to get involved in it as well, as he takes it out of the ballpark. That's another home run. The 4th one for Donnie Bell. So now it's a 9-5 game as Simon Mizzotti, who is a USBL rookie, he is coming up to the plate here. Keenan Akin in on the mound. Gonna throw it to Mizzotti. 0 for 3. He's gonna somehow get this one over. Shouldn't be more than a single, but Mizzotti, he's on his horse, and just a bad defensive play going all the way home, and it is going to be safe. So again, another home run. But that being said, though, that does end up being an inside the park home run, and Boston gonna respond in kind, gonna end up bringing in a run themselves. So still seeing a ton of runs just all over the place here as we get into this top of the 8th inning. Edwin Rios with a chance to really unload the bases, which he does do, but he does it through that window shopping. He strikes out looking. But Boston builds up quite a lead. They're starting to pull away here, and now New York's going to call upon Adam Korelic, who's only making his 5th appearance of the season. But when he does make an appearance, he hasn't been too bad. He's got a tough group ahead of him, even in the bottom of this order. Jake Marinowski having a great game so far, and is going to look to continue that, as that is going to drop in the gap. Got at least a double, looking for his first triple of the season, and they're not going to even try to attempt that throw home. Jake Marinowski with the triple. And so Jonathan Villar going to get in, see if we can bring Jake Marinowski home. A really tough day for him, to be honest with you. 0 for 5. That is a really rough way to go about it. But Jonathan Villar will end up getting on the score sheet in a positive way. Does end up bringing Jake Marinowski home, and Boston will end up sealing the deal. They end up winning what turned out to be a pretty exciting game. If you enjoyed that home run ball, the Boston Quakers do end up winning 11-6 in order to narrow that lead in the American League East against the New York Knights. So that does bring us with our last game of at least this episode. Wanted to split the late May portion of USBL gameplay into 2 different parts because I didn't want this particular episode to be too terribly long. And by the way, guys, if you have stayed this long, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new, and wait till the end of this video. I have some more information for you guys for how you want to get your custom prospects in with the USBL draft coming up kind of soon, as we will see Cody Bellinger hitting a home run, finally getting Las Vegas on. Well, I shouldn't say finally, it's the first inning, but Cody Bellinger does end up going ahead and getting that 14th home run of the season. And while we will see a strikeout there, Cody Bellinger with the 14th one of the season. It only goes to show walks will haunt. That was the only hit of the inning. But you know, it's the Chicago Freeze. They got some bats in this lineup as well. Jose Abreu being one of them. Batting .368 right now and getting even better. Going to hit this one all the way out to the wall. It's going to at least be a double Could be a triple. Jose Abreu, he's going to be going for it. And it is in on time. Jose Abreu getting that second run, or the second triple of the season. As for Daegu, though, we'll bring in Jose Abreu. That is going to count as a run. So Chicago Freeze not waiting too terribly long. They do end up getting themselves on the board. We'll see what Chris Taylor can do. He sends a shot out into left field as well. Waiting to see what happens. And I'm surprised that ball ended up dropping. Seems like the outfielder was a little bit lackadaisical. Luckily, it doesn't lead to any runs somehow in this inning. So, doing a nice job of getting out of a jam for sure. As we go ahead and see. Oh, wow. That could have been a double play to end the inning. But Chris Taylor, who had the double in the top of the second inning, just misses badly. I mean, just didn't set the feet. And we'll see if it costs Chicago as Miguel Sano looks to go to work. And it's going to cost a run. It could very much cost 2 runs as well, as Las Vegas will go ahead and extend this lead. So that error by Chris Taylor costing them big time for sure. As now, Lourdes Guerrero Jr. looking to keep the inning going even longer. The 1-2 pitch, Guerrero Jr. somehow gets it past the third baseman, Alex Verdugo, and it's going to go ahead. Actually, no, that's Kyle Seager, but doesn't matter. Brings in another run, and Las Vegas looking pretty good so far, up 5-1. We didn't know how legit this team was. They did finish under 500 back in season number 1, but looking pretty good. They would have the first wild card spot if the season ended today, with Chicago actually being on the outside looking in. But you can never count the Chicago Freeze out. They are the defending World Series champions, of course. As we will go ahead and jump into the top of the 6th inning. Alex Verdugo back at the plate. He's 1 for 1 on the day, looking to make it 2 for 2. Is this carrying deep out into left field? It does end up dropping. Alex Verdugo, who's got some above average speed, and turns that into yet another triple there. So that will put a runner in scoring position for Chris Taylor, who had the double earlier in this game and looks to get yet another run in there. This time, Chris Taylor getting his very first RBI of the game. And it's now just a 2-run deficit. Kyle Seager at the plate, 1 for 2. Only need 1 swing of the at-bat to tie this game up. He doesn't swing, and looks like we got a stolen base, but it doesn't lead to any runs. Kyle Seager fumbles the bag. And now Aroldis Chapman, in an interesting decision by the Chicago Freeze, actually. They go ahead and bring him in the bottom of the 7th inning. This is their closer, by the way, you guys. So definitely an interesting decision, to say the least. But that being said, though, not a good start for Aroldis Chapman, allowing that double, which will end up bringing up Adam Frazier. Even Chapman, he had a walk, so nobody out. Runners on first and second base, and Adam Frazier is going to go ahead and make him pay for it. Hits it out to the wall, and it does drop in the outfield, but that is going to end up bringing in 2 runs. Adam Frazier gets that triple, and that's a huge hit for him, as Las Vegas keeps this potent Chicago Freeze offense out in arm's length. You know that the Chicago Freeze offense, they can go off any minute with the stars that they have on the offensive side of the ball at the plate, as we will see Las Vegas get another run just for their own protection, of course, as Miguel Sano looking to add on to this lead anymore, but does end up striking out, and Nick Pivotto will make sure that no more runs are scored here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll jump to the bottom of the 8th. We're waiting for Chicago to try to ease back into this game, but it just isn't happening right now. So a big inning here for Will Harris. Got to make sure no more runs get across, as Marlon Gonzalez has something different in mind. That's going to bring in a run. Should very well bring in 2 runs in this inning. In Las Vegas, with double-digit runs right now, they are now up 10-3 and going to the bullpen once again. Oliver Perez getting the call this time around. 17th appearance of the season for him. There's a runner on third base already with Adam Frazier. Looking to do some more damage, but Michael Brantley will come in and make the catch. But man, Chicago had a huge deficit to deal with in the 9th, and they just could not get anything going. So Chicago loses, and it's not the fact that Chicago lost, but they lose big, and that's a huge surprise for me. But Las Vegas getting the job done, winning by a score of 10-3. The Lounge Wizards with some timely hitting. So with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's episode of USBL content. But with that being said, before I signed off, I do want to make it known that if you want to have your custom prospect, all you got to do, my guy, is to go ahead, join the Discord that will be linked in my description. It is for my main channel. So if that interests you, go ahead and check that out. There is a section in my Discord for USBL custom prospects that you can go ahead and fill out if you want to. So that being said, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button. Hit me up down in the comments for me. I love reading your comments here. And then also hit that subscribe button for me as well if you happen to be brand new and you made it all the way to the end of this video. This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.